Good afternoon to everybody. We have already discussed about units and measurement, and in previous class we have discussed already about physical quantities, fundamental quantities, derived quantities, then different type of units, and also discussed about dimensional analysis. Today we will discuss about the uses of dimensional analysis, how dimension is used in different cases. So, first we will discuss about the one application of dimensional analysis, that is to check the correctness of equation. To check the correctness of an equation. How we will check a equation is correct according to dimensional analysis? Actually, equation means there is a equation symbol and it should have LHS and it should have RHS. So, I am taking an example. For example, we will check the correctness of equation V equal to U plus AT. This equation is equation of motion, but we will check dimensionally that this equation is correct. So, where V, this is final velocity, this is U initial velocity, and this is A acceleration, and this is time t. So, how we will check the correctness of this equation? First, we have to find out the dimension of LHS. That is V velocity. I have already discussed in the previous class that dimension of velocity is m0 L1 t minus 1, because velocity is rate of change of displacement by time. So, displacement belongs to length and t belongs to L belongs to length and t belongs to time. Now, dimension of RHS. First, U is initial velocity. So, its dimension is also m0 L1 t minus 1. Then, dimension of acceleration A, this is m0 L1 t minus 2. Then, dimension of time t, this is m0 L0 t. So, dimension of RHS is U plus AT equal to m0 L t minus 1 plus m0 L t minus 2, then m0 L0 t1. This is m0 L t minus 1 plus this is m0 L t minus 1, that is twice of m0 L t minus 1. But since 2 is dimensionless constant quantity, so final dimension is m0 L t minus 1. So, dimension of LHS is m0 L t minus 1 and dimension of RHS is also m0 L t minus 1. So, LHS equal to RHS, since dimension of LHS equal to dimension of RHS according to principle of homogeneity. I will tell about that principle of homogeneity, I will discuss it. Since according to principle of homogeneity, dimension of LHS equal to dimension of RHS, so this equation is correct. Okay? So, now I will just give you hints about the principle of homogeneity that you have already also crossed in 10th level, in high school level, that is known as principle of homogeneity. Principle of homogeneity if a to the power b equal to a to the power c. If base a base b power, if base will same, then power will be equated, that is b equal to c. This is principle of homogeneity. So, in the equation, check in the correctness of equation, dimension of LHS equal to dimension of RHS, that is m0 L1 t minus 1, this was dimension of LHS and this was dimension of RHS. So, here you mark m base mass here. So, power is equal, base length L power is 1 1, here base is t time power is equated, that is minus 1, this is minus 1. This is principle of homogeneity. Okay. So, this is one application of dimensional analysis. Then there is another application, second application we will discuss. Using dimensional analysis, we can also find relation between various physical quantities. Second application is to find the relation between various physical quantities. Various physical quantities. So, now we will take an example. For example, suppose let F equal to force, m equal to mass, a equal to acceleration. Suppose we do not know what is the relation between F, m and a, force, mass and acceleration. We have to find out the relation between force, mass and acceleration, whether it will be F equal to ma or F equal to m by a or F equal to a by m. Just we will check it using dimensional analysis. So, how we will find the relation between force, mass and acceleration. So, first thing, force is a physical quantity which depends on mass, but we do not know how it is depending on mass. It is depending directly or inversely. So, let F proportional to m to the power x, m to the power x. If x will positive, then force depends on mass directly. If x is negative, then force depends on mass inversely. Similarly, and F proportional to a to the power y. We do not know whether y is positive or negative. If positive, then directly force is directly proportional to acceleration. If y is negative, then F is inversely proportional to acceleration. So, now we have to find out the value of x and y using dimensional analysis. Implied F proportional to m to the power x, a to the power y. Implied F equal to k m to the power x, a to the power y, where k proportionality constant, which has no dimension. There are some constants, they possess dimension. For example, Planck's constant, Boltzmann's constant, universal gravitational constant, they possess dimension, but such type of constants have no dimensions. So, here k has no dimension. So, we are not worried about the dimensions of k. Now, we will find out the dimension of LHS force. Now, dimension of force F, this is m1 L1 t minus 2, m1 L1 t minus 2. This is dimension of LHS, that is of LHS. Now, dimension of RHS. So, dimension of mass here m1 L0 T0. Then dimension of acceleration A equal to m0 L1 T minus 2. So, what is dimension of RHS of mass m1 L0 T0 and for acceleration m0 L1 T minus 2. So, now substitute the dimension of LHS and dimension of RHS in equation 1. You just substitute dimension of LHS and dimension of RHS of each term in equation 1. So, what will happen if m1 L1 T minus 2, k is proportionally constant, it has no dimension. So, mass m1 L0 T0 to the power x, acceleration m0 L1 T minus 2 to the power y. Implied m1 L1 T minus 2. So, this is m1 L1 T minus 2, because here power is 1, here 0, 0 plus 1 1, here 0, here 1, 0 plus 1 1, here 0, here minus 2, that is minus 2. So, sorry, this is m to the power x L0 T0, here m0 Ly, okay. Then m1 L1 T minus 2, this is m to the power x plus 0, L to the power 0 plus y, T to the power 0 minus 2y. So, we will get m1 L1 T minus 2, here m to the power x, L to the power y, T to the power minus 2y. This is equation 2. Now, we have to use principle of homogeneity. So, if base are same, then power will be equated. So, now here you see now according to principle of homogeneity, here power of mass 1, here power of mass is x. So, x equal to 1, here power is 1, here power is y. So, y equal to 1. So, according to dimensional analysis, we got that value of x equal to plus 1, value of y equal to plus 1. Now, from equation 1, f equal to k m to the power 1 a to the power 1, that is f equal to k m a. But the k is proportionality constant, its value is 1 in all system of units. So, k equal to 1, therefore, f equal to m a. Since k equal to 1 in all system of units experimentally, therefore, value of k equal to 1 and f equal to m a, which is the required relation between force, mass and acceleration. So, in this way we can find out the relation between different physical quantities. Of course, there are some limitations, we cannot find out the composite relations. For example, S equal to ut plus half at square, it is a composite relation. So, we cannot find out the relation, this type of relation using dimensional analysis. Okay. So, these are the applications of dimensional analysis. Next, we will go to very important things, error. It is a very common thing, day to day life we are also doing. various types of errors. But what is error in physics? We will discuss it. Of course, physics is study of nature. So, in nature there are also some error and we are also doing some error, but we will discuss physically what is error. Actually, in measurement there are some uncertainty. We cannot decide or choose completely or finally or perfectly that this is the measurement value. Suppose we are measuring temperature in a thermometer and using that temperature, suppose mercury rises to 99 mercury rises in between 99.4 and 99.5, not exactly 99.4, not exactly 99.5. It is within 4 and 5. In some cases it may be exactly in the middle of 4 and 5, or some cases it is towards 4, or in some cases it also mercury rises towards 5. So, what is the exact result? Actual, what is the actual result? If you will take 99.4, that is wrong. If you will take 99.5, that is also wrong. Suppose it is we are just this is feeling that within the 4 and 5, if you will take the middle measurement, that is also not right, not correct. So, there is a error in the measurement. So, what is error? It indicates how much uncertainty in a measurement. This is the definition. It indicates how much uncertainty in a measurement. How much uncertainty in a measurement. Generally, there are two types of error. One is two types of error. One is random error, another is systematic error. Another is systematic error. So, what is random error? This error causes or happens due to small change of condition. Small change of condition. Suppose a experiment should make at temperature 30 degree. So, the temperature for laboratory should be 30 degree Celsius, 30 degree Celsius. Suppose in summer that may be 36 degree Celsius, in winter that is 22 degree Celsius or 20 degree Celsius, the room temperature is, but condition is the experiment should operate at 30 degree Celsius, but we are doing at 22 degree Celsius in winter, or in summer where we are doing work in the laboratory that at 36 degree Celsius. So, whatever we are getting the reading, that is wrong. So, this type of error is known as random error. So, how we will just to eliminate this error or to reduce this error? So, we have to take repeated observations. We have to take repeated observations. So, remedy of random error is we have to take repeated observations and finally, we have to find out its average value. But in systematic error means in a very regular process. Suppose you take a thermometer and generally in clinical thermometer, while using thermometer, we just shake the thermometer initially, because the mercury should come to 0 position. Suppose the mercury is not coming to 0 degree Celsius, it is coming to 1 degree Celsius. Repeated shaking or vibration not coming to 0 degree Celsius. So, when we are using that thermometer, suppose temperature is final temperature is showing that is 100 degree Celsius, 100 degree Fahrenheit. Suppose body temperature showing 100 degree Fahrenheit. That means actually that is -1, 99 degree Fahrenheit. So, this type of error is known as systematic error, because there are some manufacturing defect. So, that particular instrument when you will use, it will show 1 degree Fahrenheit excess or much more in every readings. So, that is known as systematic error. And there are also, this is basically two types of error. These two types of error are also classified into other types of error. One is instrumental error, that I have already discussed, manufacturing defect in that thermometer. So, it is showing instrumental error. Another is personal error. Personal error means, suppose I am using these optical instruments. So, if I will remove this optical instrument, I will say one reading, and when I will use this optical reading, then I will say another reading. So, that is personal error. Then another is constant error. Constant error means, just like that instrument, that thermometer is always showing 1 degree Fahrenheit excess. So, error in that instrument is always constant, that is 1 degree Fahrenheit, that is known as constant error. Then another is backlash error, which is very important. In the laboratory, we are using some nut and screw instruments, that is screw watch or micrometer, by which we measure the very small measurement, micro measurements. Suppose the thickness of a piece of paper or thickness of a very thin wire. So, we are using screw watch or micrometer. So, there is a knot and screw arrangement. In spirometer also there are also knot and screw arrangement, that is rotating. So, after using repeated use, there are wear and tear of threads. Many times after using these instruments, there are wear and tear of threads, and they do not move properly. If you will give the clockwise rotation, one rotation, or anti-clockwise rotation, if for one clockwise rotation it should move 0.1 cm, in anti-clockwise rotation it will move 0.2 cm. That means there is some error in the instrument, that is known as backlash error. Then another is parallax error. So, what is parallax error? It is basically in the mirror, plane mirror. You will see in some plane mirror, the nature of plane mirror is size of object equal to size of image. But in some plane mirrors, you will see that size of face is not size of the image. It is bent, whether it is vertically elongated or horizontally compressed, such type of image you will see. So, that means there is a error in that mirror, that error is known as parallax error. And another is gross error. Gross error means due to carelessness. Suppose you are taking measurements in the laboratory in slide caliper or screw gauge or spirometer or in Hayes apparatus or in any or in voltmeter or in ammeter, you are taking reading and carelessly you are taking reading. Suppose that is 1.1, 2, that is suppose in an ammeter the reading is pointer is at the position of 1.1 and 1.2, within 1.1 and 1.2, and you are taking reading carelessly, that is 1.1 or that is 1.2. Yes, we can take 1.2, we can take 1.1. No, that is known as gross error. So, error due to carelessness is known as gross error. Okay. Then there are another errors which are very important for measurements and also in mathematics, that is also required frequently. This is absolute error. This is absolute error. So, there is a true value and there is a measured value. Suppose this is a pen, its length pen, or suppose it is any stick or rod and its length is written the true value 10.1 cm. 10.1 cm, length of this body is 10.1 cm. So, when you will measure, suppose it is 10.1 10.19 or 10.09, that is measured value. So, what is absolute error? This is difference between true value and measured value. It is difference between true value and measured value. True value and measured value. So, delta x is absolute error, x minus x bar. What is delta x? This is symbol of absolute error, this is true value, this is measured value. For example, true value of g, acceleration due to gravity, is meter per second square on the earth surface. This is standard value. So, in the laboratory you are measuring the value of g, or you are finding the value of g using instruments. Suppose measured value of g equal to 9.9 meter per second square. So, true value, here measured value is greater than true value. So, what will be absolute error? Delta x equal to x bar minus x, that is 9.9 minus 9.8, this is 0.1 meter per second square. So, if measured value will be greater than true value, you can just interchange x bar minus x, because error cannot be negative, error cannot be 0. So, error cannot be negative. If it is not coming to 0, so it is not possible to be negative. So, what is absolute error? This is 0.1 meter per second square. Then second very important, that is relative error, that is relative error. It is ratio between absolute error to true value. It is ratio between absolute error to true value. Therefore, relative error equal to delta x by x or x minus x bar by x. This is known as relative error. Then third very important for calculation, in many cases, many experiments, we have to find out the percentage of error, having which has a standard value and we are measuring, then we have to find out the percentage of error. So, third, percentage of error. We are using percentage of error frequently in experiment, equal to relative error into 100 percentage, that is x minus x bar by x into 100 percentage. This is true value minus measured value by true value into 100 percentage. If measured value will greater than true value, then you can change measured value minus true value. So, but denominator will always true value minus measured value by true value into 100 percentage. So, here very important, error cannot be 0. Error cannot be 0. So, error cannot be negative. Since it cannot be 0, it cannot be negative. Now, we will discuss about another very important thing of error, that is known as propagation of error or combination of error. We will see in different process how error operates, whether error increases or decreases or remains constant. So, that is combination of error or propagation of error. This is known as combination of error or propagation of error. So, first case 1, when a result involves sum addition. Suppose there are two measurements, first measurement and second measurement. In first measurement there is some error, in second measurement there is also some error. If we will combine first measurement plus second measurement, what will be the final result in the error, whether it will increase or decrease or remains constant. So, first case 1, sum or addition, sum or addition. Suppose A and B are two quantities, A and B are two quantities, and their measured values are A plus minus delta A, either may be increased, may be decreased. So, A plus minus delta A and B plus minus delta B respectively. So, absolute errors are plus minus delta A and plus minus delta B. Plus minus delta A and plus minus delta B. Now, our aim is to add the two quantities A and B. So, let Z equal to A plus B. A is a quantity, B is physical quantity, it is measured, and when it is added, it will give Z. Then Z plus minus delta Z equal to A plus minus delta A plus B plus minus delta B. Z plus minus delta Z equal to A plus B plus minus delta A plus minus delta B. Implied Z plus minus delta Z, this A plus B equal to Z in equation 1. So, delta A plus minus delta B. So, then Z will cancel. Finally, plus minus delta Z equal to plus minus delta A plus minus delta B. So, equation 2. So, in equation 2 there are four possibilities. Plus delta Z equal to plus delta A plus delta B, and there are another possibilities plus delta A minus delta B, minus delta A plus delta B, minus delta A minus delta A. So, among four options the maximum error is plus delta Z equal to plus delta A plus delta B. So, finally, delta Z equal to delta A plus delta B. This is maximum possible error in the measurement. If we will add two measured quantities A and B. So, error will be added finally, that means the error increases. Okay. Then in second case, we will come to subtraction. Case 2, subtraction. Similarly, you take two quantities A and B, that is true value, then measured value is A plus minus delta A, B plus minus delta B. So, absolute errors are plus minus delta A, plus minus delta B. Here plus and minus are taken because measurement may be greater than the true value, may be less than the true value. So, if now we will subtract these two quantities z equal to A minus B, z equal to A minus B, then what will happen? Now, we will see implied z plus minus delta z equal to A plus minus delta B minus B plus minus delta B, implied A plus minus delta A minus B, here plus will be minus, minus will be plus. Again z plus minus delta z equal to A minus B plus minus delta A minus plus delta B. You see from equation 1 A minus B equal to z, therefore, z plus minus delta A minus plus delta B, here z cancel. So, finally, the absolute error delta z equal to plus minus delta A minus plus delta B. In this equation also there are four possibilities, one is plus delta A minus delta B, plus delta A plus delta B, minus delta A minus delta B, minus delta A plus delta B. So, among four possibilities the maximum error is plus delta A plus delta B. So, maximum possible error is delta z equal to delta A plus delta B. So, you just mark the operation is subtraction A minus B, two quantities are subtracted. So, general concept is error should be reduced, no, error is always increases. So, in the process addition error increased by delta A plus delta B, and in case of subtraction error also increases, that is delta A plus delta B. So, error always, so it is concluded that error will always increase, it may be addition, may be subtraction. Now, in case 3 we will see about multiplication, and you just observe what is the result. In this case, if suppose there are two quantities and they are measured and there are absolute errors, and finally you multiply the quantities, then what will next case 3 we will discuss about multiplication. We will discuss about multiplication. Same, we will take same two quantities A and B, that is the initial values, and after measurement, suppose measured values are A plus minus delta A, and in quantity B, that is B plus minus delta B. So, absolute errors are plus minus delta A and plus minus delta B. So, here according to multiplication, let z equal to AB, A dot B, A into B. So, implied z plus minus delta z equal to A plus minus delta A, B plus minus delta B. I substituted the measured value, then z plus minus delta z, you take common 1 plus minus delta A by A, here B take common 1 plus minus delta B by B. Now z plus minus delta z equal to a b, and this is delta a by a into 1 plus minus delta b by b. Now z plus minus delta z equal to a b equal to z from equation 1, then 1 plus minus delta a by a 1 plus minus delta b by b. Here you take common z, 1 plus minus delta z by z equal to z delta a by a 1 plus minus delta b by b. So, here z cancel. Now, open the bracket in RHS. Implied 1 plus minus delta z by z equal to 1 plus minus delta b by b plus minus delta a by a, here plus delta a by a dot delta b by b. Again 1 cancel, and here you mark this term, last term. Here denominator a into b, but numerator delta a into delta b. Delta a, delta b are very small and a and b are very large. Since denominator is very large, so value of this term is very small. So, this term can be neglected. So, finally, delta z by z delta a by a plus minus delta b by b. This is equation 2. Okay? This term is neglected since denominator is very large. Here also you see there are 4 possibles, plus delta a by a plus delta b by b, plus delta a by a minus delta b by b, minus delta a by a plus delta b by b, minus delta by a minus delta b by b. Among of them, the maximum possible error is delta z by z equal to plus delta z by z equal to plus delta a by a plus delta b by b. So, finally, the absolute error, this is absolute error, sorry, relative error, because it is ratio between absolute error to true value. So, finally, maximum relative error delta z by z equal to delta a by a plus delta b by b. So, here also you mark when two quantities are multiplied, the original quantity will be multiplied, but errors are always added, it will be added, that means error will increase. So, whatever may be the process, addition, subtraction, multiplication, we just concluded that error will increase because in each case errors are added. Then come to final 4th case, that is division. We will divide two quantities with error, then we will see what is the final result of the error, that is case 4, division or quotient. Similarly, you take two quantities a and b and true value, and measured values are a plus minus delta a and b plus minus delta b. So, z equal to, now divide the two quantities, z equal to a and b. So, finally, we will see what will happen to its error. Implied z plus minus delta z equal to a plus minus delta a by b plus minus delta b. Implied delta z by z, here delta a by a, delta b by b. Implied delta z by z a by b 1 plus minus delta a by a into 1 plus minus delta b by b minus 1. So, here a by b equal to z in equation 1 implied 1 plus minus delta z by z equal to z 1 plus minus delta a by a into 1 minus plus delta b by b according to binomial theorem. According to binomial theorem. According to binomial theorem, if power is negative, it will be multiplied with second term. This is first term, this is second term. So, when minus 1 is multiplied with second term, this plus will be minus and this minus will be plus. So, here z cancel. Again 1 plus minus delta z by z equal to 1 plus minus delta a by a 1 plus minus delta b by b, sorry, this is minus, this is plus, implied 1 plus minus delta z by z 1 minus plus delta b by b plus minus delta a by a minus delta a by a dot delta b by b. Here 1 cancel, implied plus minus delta z by z equal to plus minus delta a by a minus plus delta b by b. In this case also there are 4 possibles, plus minus, plus plus, minus minus, minus plus. Among of them, the maximum possible error is delta z by z equal to delta a by a plus delta b by b. So, here also relative error added finally. So, process is division, but final error is it is added. So, error will always increase whatever may be the process, addition, subtraction, multiplication or division. So, finally, error will be added and it will increase. If this is relative error, in case of multiplication and division, this is relative error. If you will find the percentage of error, then just you multiply the percentage. This is percentage of error. So, these are all about the errors, propagation of error and combination of error, and there are so many problems. So, you just practice it, then you will find that in multiplication, division and in subtraction, in addition. So, that error will be increased. Okay. ଟିକେ ପାଣି ଟିକେ ପିଇ